It's very impressive, huh? Blasting the video. But everyone moved away from the front. So, this is ancient technology, right? But the thing that's nice about this is just CSS, HTML, and JavaScript. Actually, I don't think there's even any JavaScript. This is just CSS. Crazy. So this is the future. So everyone writes their tests, and you just get these boring log files, green, red, whatever. Get some, server log file. The last lightning talk before this saw some video. That is the future. This is the end state. You should have the mindset of George Lucas when you create your tests. But the crazy thing is that because this is just HTML and JavaScript, HTML is taking over the world. You don't need to use iMovie. You don't have to figure it out. The nice thing about these technologies is because it's an API, you can interleave these things with your tests. So that is the crazy land stuff. But if you want to do something a little bit more mundane by just putting having a title screen with text, basically this proves the point that anything you can do in iMovie, you can do in Safari now. And since we're already doing browser testing, to kind of take this notion of doing testing, combining with some movie, kind of MTV, George Lucas kind of equality, bring those things together, and you actually can make some pretty interesting little screencasts. So one other, the last little, Paul's word over. I'm going to stop. I'll give myself about 30 seconds. Prag, hub. Right. Hub? Yeah. Prag, hub. There we go. Magazines. Okay, so the second one looks very interesting, but the top one, automating screencasts. I wrote this article this month. Pub, can't pronounce it. Anyway, the pragmatic programmers putting out a little PDF magazine, wrote the article, but no one's commented on it. So I got this crazy idea about talking about automated screencasting, and no one's told me I'm full of crap. So I dare you to go to this link, click the Discuss the Magazine, and add a comment here to say how wonderful the Star Wars George Lucas effect thing is about combining testing with screencasting, or just remain quiet, forever hold your peace. Anyway, that's my talk.
When you do get into JavaScript, though, how do you start testing Canvas? Because
yeah.
Canvas gets really complicated. I mean, now you can take a screenshot with Canvas, right? So at a certain event, you can just take an image and then diff images.
Right.
But you can't rely on where nodes are.
So the problem with Canvas is the same problem with Flash. It's ultimately just a painted canvas. The nice thing about Flex compared to Flash is that there's metadata in the rendered Flash widget.
But you have to compile all your code into the rendered widget to get it to test.
So the nice thing about HTML, it was accidentally testable. People had to write HTML that had metadata, that had these data structure, and then Selenium could just hook into that. With Canvas, it's a blank canvas, so that's a whole other talk for another day. But Canvas by itself is a completely untestable mess. But if you insert metadata like a DOM, I don't know what you would call it, Canvas object model, but
well, I mean, so if you're not just playing a movie, right? Like you're not just testing that you're playing a movie, but you're testing that you draw something and then an event fires. You can test that when that event fires, a certain thing is there, or you can actually use Canvas to take an image and then diff an image to like a known state.
So what I would use for this stuff is I would have a known web app that I'm walking through, and I'm doing a little silly kind of walkthrough tutorial. I'd actually be using Canvas to do these little text widgets, maybe do a fly through saying, you're now going to watch how to log in. I wouldn't really be testing that. Probably actually manually test the visual effects. But
fail.
I know. But the whole video itself was created automatically. If you do that as part of a builds process, you could be generating your screencasts on every build, as opposed to a late process manual thing with expensive tools by one person in the corner. What is now. So my analogy is that testing used to be a late process manual activity with expensive tools done by a guy in the corner. Now it's an everyday development activity. I want screencasting, I predict, doing silly talks like this, encouraging people to follow the path that testing took and make screencasting part of a development activity if you're going to sell.
So we can have even less docs and just screencasts?
Exactly. That's the lazy way to do it. That is the way to go.
It's certainly what I've been doing.